Today, in what seems like deja vu, disgraced movie mogul Harvey Weinstein back in court in a wheelchair. His legal team celebrating a shocking victory after his New York conviction was overturned by New York's highest court last week.
Obviously, there's a tremendous sense of relief that we're back here. Harvey Weinstein is now presumed innocent.
The Manhattan District Attorney vowing to retry the case.
We believe that we have a strong case, so we look forward to having a new day in court.
It was surreal to see Harvey Weinstein. He's in a wheelchair. Court officers wheeled him into court, and he didn't say a word, but he did greet his attorneys, and they said it was like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders because his conviction had been overturned.
It was February of 2020 when Weinstein was convicted for criminal sexual assault of former production assistant Mimi Haley and the third-degree rape of aspiring actress Jessica Mann. He was sentenced to 23 years in prison. That guilty verdict, vindication for the more than 80 women who publicly accused Weinstein of sexual assault or harassment, including actresses Uma Thurman, Gwyneth Paltrow, Rose McGowan, and Ashley Judd.
I knew it was disgusting. Like, was I going to tell the concierge who sent me up to the room?
Weinstein was once an Oscar staple, some of the biggest stars crediting him for their big wins.
I would like to thank Harvey Weinstein.
Thank you to Harvey. Harvey, thank you for killing whoever you had to kill to get me up here today.
But survivors say Weinstein used his significant clout and influence to lure them in, assault them, and then scare them into silence. The chorus of voices against Weinstein helped spark the Me Too movement, and his conviction was seen as a major victory for the cause. But then last week, the New York State Court of Appeals voted 4-3 to overturn his conviction, citing what it called egregious errors, finding that the judge erroneously allowed women who weren't part of the case to testify to so-called prior bad acts.
These women were testifying to things they alleged Harvey Weinstein did that didn't have anything to do with the substance of the criminal charges. Prosecutors meant to try and show a pattern, but the Court of Appeals said it went too far.
The news, shocking and devastating to Weinstein's alleged victims, including two of the women who were among the first to come forward. Italian model Ambra Gutierrez.
I just felt like everything was not real.
And actress Ashley Judd.
Harvey Weinstein exploited gleefully asymmetry of power and is a serial sexual predator. Everyone knows that.
In 1997, Judd, then an up-and-coming actress, was shooting the movie Kiss the Girls.
So if you're looking for someone to blame me.
When she says Harvey Weinstein invited her to a meeting at his Beverly Hills hotel. When she arrived, she learned the meeting was in his room. Once there, reluctantly, she says he cornered her, pressuring her for a massage and for her to watch him shower. She says she repeatedly said no and struggled to leave the room.
And so how does what happened to you in that hotel room in the Peninsula Hotel play out for you over time throughout your life?
My art is so different. My pocketbook is very different today as a result of those lost economic opportunities. It also opened up my time to, spend my life traveling the world as a feminist, social justice humanitarian. And for that, I'm very grateful. But those are losses that can never be regained.
In 2017, she told her story to the New York Times, and the floodgates opened as dozens of other women began to come forward. And one of the most powerful men in Hollywood was taken down.
What does it mean to you to be a silence breaker?
I'm going to cry. I realized the other day that it is the honor of my life. That is the title that humbles me the most. It means the most.
Now a fierce advocate, Judd blasted the decision to overturn Weinstein's conviction at a press conference last week.
This is what it's like to be a woman in America, living with male entitlement to our bodies.
What's it like to be back here talking about this case yet again?
Survivors often talk about the moral injury of what they call the second rape, and how that is often more deeply traumatizing than the original sexual assault or rape that they experienced by a man. And that's why I call it institutional betrayal, and how we have this opportunity to move toward institutional courage.
Ambra Gutierrez is trying to find her courage again amidst the trauma.
It's just opening a whole wound that it's painful. It's relieving situation like the ones that I try to forget.
We were with her 4 years ago when Weinstein was convicted.
I'm so happy, but I can't stop crying. I don't know, it's so weird.
There has been a verdict in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial.
Harvey Weinstein found guilty of rape and criminal sexual assault.
What was that moment like for you? Take us back to that moment.
Well, it was a beautiful day, like my life could have started again. I felt like I was vindicated. People were believing in me. They were not calling me a prostitute and a blackmailer anymore, but I was a hero.
Gutierrez was a 22-year-old model when she says Weinstein groped her at his New York office in 2015. She says she immediately went to the NYPD, who asked her to meet Weinstein again, this time wearing that wire.
Feeling very uncomfortable right now.
Please come in now.
Gutierrez says Weinstein invited her to one of his shows and took her to a hotel afterwards. Undercover detectives were waiting at the bar.
Today you touched my breast.
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that. Come on.
Are you used to that?
Yes, come in.
Despite the evidence, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office declined to prosecute her case. But she did share the tapes with journalist Ronan Farrow, who told her story in The New Yorker, helping fuel the tidal wave of accusations against Weinstein.
It's been 9 years since you went to the NYPD to try to find justice. How does it hit you that in 2024 you're still looking for justice?
I still feel like I felt in 2015, where I tried my best to do everything I could. I got proof of the incident, and the justice system failed me. So that is happening all over again.
Weinstein's retrial is slated to begin sometime after Labor Day. Mimi Haley and Jessica Mann would have to testify again.
She has not yet decided if she is going to be willing to testify in this new trial. It's a big decision.
Gloria Allred is Haley's attorney. She's spent her career fighting for women's rights.
We have an imperfect system of justice or injustice, as some people might view it. But it's always 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards. And that's always the way it is for women's rights.
Weinstein remains in custody while awaiting a new trial.
Harvey Weinstein was also convicted of sex crimes in Los Angeles. His attorneys are now working through an appeal in that case. They say they can be successful there. But either way, Harvey Weinstein is not going free.
For Ashley Judd, this news comes at a painful time, almost exactly 2 years after her mother, singer Naomi Judd, died by suicide.
I know that this time of year is a particularly difficult one for you because of the loss of your mom, and I'm so sorry for that. How were you able to muster all this courage and energy despite all your loss?
I appreciate that acknowledgement. When this news came out on Thursday, it did feel like male sexual assault is a thief, because I wanted to be thinking about how I wanted to support and care for myself on the anniversary, but I was like thinking about how to write an op-ed about institutional courage instead.
And she says she still feels her mother's courage as well.
I knew I was going to be Jody and Megan's named source in the New York Times investigative report about Harvey, but I did ask my mom, and she said, "Oh, go get him, honey." And she said it just like that in her little dulcet tones. And so I know she's so proud of me. My mom gave me such treasures and gems while she was here, and all I have to do is recall her words, and she gives me encouragement.